Welcome to Coach's Corner Podcast, everybody. Thanks for watching this show. I'm your host, Paul Tripoli, Coach Tripp to my players. I coached 20 years of football here in Pensacola every Monday night. Kerry Goode, my old teammate at Bama in the early 80s, him and I deep dive into his book, Goode and Faithful Servant. And as most of you know, Kerry's got ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. Thanks to AI technology, I send him over the questions and actually sends them back in his own voice. So we're on day 142. He breaks up his book into chapters, 196 days. And so let's tackle this. This is an emotional one. Hope I don't get too emotional with it. But this is called The Greatest. This is what he titles this chapter. Remember, these are all Kerry's words. I just asked the questions. So let's get started. I hope you enjoy this and you'll want to share this show. My father gave me the greatest gift anyone can give another person. He believed in me. While visiting with a family friend, my dad was asked, "Clyde, which one of your boys will be the best?" My dad looked at me and said, "This one," as he touched me on the shoulder. As a 12-year-old boy, that set my world on fire. My every thought was not to let him down, go the extra mile. But as an adult with my own kids now, I realized that he would have said that about any of my brothers if they were present at the time. But for a little boy with big dreams, that set my life in motion. I pray that all dads will speak life in a child. Doesn't have to be biologically yours. We all ultimately want to please the Father. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. Proverbs 18:21. Chapter 18, verse 21. Okay, KG, let's go with the first question here. My father was the best man at my wedding, my biggest fan and vocal supporter. He always thought I could beat the odds. His confidence in my abilities fueled my ambition. Walking on in Alabama after back-to-back titles could seem overwhelming, but he always had words of encouragement. I never would have made it without his belief in me. KG, expound on the proverb verse, quote, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit."
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the show, pulling up a chair, and letting us borrow your ears for a little while. Paul is hosting, I am answering, and together we are about to bless your spirit and tickle your funny bone at the same time. Now, Paul, you came in hot with that story about your father being your best man, your biggest fan, your personal hype man, your emotional strength coach, and your unofficial sports psychologist. That man believed in you so hard he probably had a jersey with your name on the back before you even made the team. So let me jump into this from my point of view. Oh, when Proverbs says death and life are in the power of the tongue, that is not poetry. That is a warning label. That is God saying, watch your mouth because your words come with consequences. Your tongue is basically a spiritual 3D printer. Whatever you speak keeps showing up on your doorstep. My father proved that. One day a family friend asked him, "Clyde, which one of your boys will be the best?" My father did not blink. He did not hesitate. He did not run a background check. He just touched my shoulder and said, "This one." And let me tell you something. As a 12-year-old boy, that felt like God himself had just handed me a superhero cape and said, "Go save the world." I walked around the rest of that day like I had theme music. I was doing chores with purpose. I was taking out the trash like it was a calling. I was sweeping the floor like I was preparing for the Olympics. Because when your father believes in you, you start believing in yourself on a level that does not even make sense. Now, as a grown man with kids of my own, I realized something. My father would have said that about any of my brothers if they were standing there. He was an equal opportunity encourager. He was passing out confidence like free samples at Costco. That one moment lit a fire in me that never went out. That is the fruit Proverbs is talking about. When someone speaks life into you, you start producing fruit you did not even know you could grow. You start walking taller. You start dreaming bigger. You start trying things you would have never attempted if someone had not first said, "I believe in you." And the opposite is true too. If someone speaks death, discouragement, negativity, or nonsense, that stuff grows too. That is why I tell folks all the time, be careful who you let talk to you. Some people do not have fruit, they have weeds. So, Paul, when your father told you that you could beat the odds, that you could walk on at Alabama, that you could stand toe to toe with champions, he was planting seeds. and look at the fruit. You did not just walk on, you walked in with purpose, confidence, and a daddy who believed in you so much he probably thought Bear Bryant needed to take notes from you. So here is the bottom line. Speak life, speak hope, speak encouragement, speak destiny, speak purpose, speak strength, speak joy, speak possibility, because somebody's future is waiting on your words. And if you are a father, a mentor, a coach, an uncle, a neighbor, or just somebody with a mouth, use it to build somebody up. You never know which kid is one sentence away from becoming everything God designed them to be. That is the power of the tongue. And that is why I pray every father will speak life into a child, even if that child does not share your DNA. Because at the end of the day, we are all trying to please the Father. Now, Paul, go ahead and hit me with the next question before I start passing around an offering bucket.
Pass that around, KG. Oh my gosh. Let me touch on a few things Carrie said. Carrie's dad touched him on the shoulder, and words of encouragement to his 12-year-old felt like God Himself handed him a Superman cape and told him to go save the world. That's how Carrie described it. KG's dad was an equal opportunity encourager, handing out compliments like they were free samples at Costco. Your words are real life 3D printer. Your words keep showing up at your door. Speak hope, speak life, speak encouragement, speak destiny, speak purpose, speak strength, speak joy, because somebody's future is waiting on your words. Think about that. Somebody's future is waiting on your words. Walking taller, you start walking taller, dreaming bigger, trying things you never thought possible if someone didn't breathe words of hope and encouragement and life into you. Wow, that is strong stuff, KG. Thanks so much, man. All right, I'll hit you with question number 2. Here you go, man. You say, quote, I pray that all dads will speak life in a child. It doesn't have to be biologically yours, unquote. KG, my son Zach has done that. He's taken 3 kids, they're not biologically his, and treated them as his own. I could not be more proud of him. To love kids like your own takes a special person. I do not understand deadbeat dads. Was it because their father didn't speak words of encouragement into them like ours did?
Oh, my brother, I appreciate you having me on. I hope everybody listening is having a great day, because if you are not, hang around a little while and we will try to laugh our way through it together. All right, Paul, let's talk about this question, because this one right here hits close to the heart. First of all, let me say something about your son. Any man who steps up and loves children that are not biologically his deserves a standing ovation, a steak dinner, and probably a croquette down Main Street, because loving kids that are not yours by blood is not common, but it is one of the most Christ-like things a man can do. Anybody can make a baby. Biology handles that part. But being a father, that is a decision. That is a daily commitment. That is waking up every morning saying these kids are my responsibility, my mission, my assignment from God. Your son did not just marry a woman. He adopted a purpose. Now, Paul, you asked about deadbeat dads. Why do some men disappear while others step up? Well, if I am being honest, some of it is exactly what you mentioned. Some men never heard words of encouragement themselves. Nobody ever told them they mattered. Nobody ever showed them
Mhm,
how a father behaves. When you grow up without an example, sometimes you do not know how to become one. But here is the part
mhm,
that makes me laugh a little, because life does not give us a permanent excuse card. At some point, a man has to decide what kind of story he is going to live. You can repeat the cycle or you can break the cycle. Some men say
yeah,
my daddy was not there, so I will not be there either. Other men say my daddy was not there, so I will make sure my kids never feel that pain. Same path, two
mhm,
completely different decisions. And Paul,
mhm,
the men who step in and love children that are not biologically theirs are some of the strongest men walking this earth, because those kids are watching everything. They are learning what a real father looks like. Love is not spelled DNA. Love is spelled TIMF. Love is showing up to the ball
mhm.
games. Love is
Yep,
helping with homework. Love is
yep,
sitting at the dinner table. Love is saying, I am proud of you even when nobody
mhm,
else says it. That is what fathers do. And the beautiful
mhm,
thing about it is those kids may not share his blood, but they will carry his influence for the rest of their lives. So, Paul,
mhm.
you should be proud of your son. That young man is not just raising kids. He is building future adults who will one day say, I had a dad who chose me. And in a world full of missing fathers, that kind of man is worth celebrating. Because at the end of the day, the greatest title a man can ever earn is not boss, not millionaire, not champion. It is simply dad.
Wow. Great stuff, Carrie. Loving children like their own is probably one of the most Christ-like things you can do. One of the strongest men walking the earth today. That's you, Z. Man, they let it break down. Sorry about that. Proud of my son. When you grow up without a good example, you don't know how to become one. Some guys are. But there's a difference. Here's the difference. At some point, a man has to decide what kind of man you're going to be. Some say, my dad wasn't there, and I don't want my son to feel the same way. And that makes a difference. Wow. Great show, KG. Unbelievable. As always, you summarize it and you conclude. So let's hear what you got to say about this show.
Thanks for hanging out with us, laughing with us, and letting Paul and me act like we have some sense, even though we both know that is questionable at best. We appreciate you more than a Southern grandma appreciates a clean kitchen. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Summary of what we talked about. Today's show was all about fathers, other figures, and the power of speaking life into the next generation. We started with the story of my father Clyde, who gave me the greatest gift a man can give another human being. He believed in me. When a family friend asked him which one of his boys would be the best, he touched my shoulder and said this one. As a 12-year-old boy, that moment lit me up like a Christmas tree plugged into a lightning storm. It shaped my confidence, my drive, and my purpose. Then Paul shared how his father was his best man, his biggest fan, and his personal motivational speaker. His father believed in him so strongly that walking on at Alabama felt possible because somebody had already spoken life into him. We talked about Proverbs. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. We broke that down in a comical but truthful way, reminding folks that your mouth is a spiritual construction site. You can build somebody up or tear them down depending on what comes out of it. Then Paul bragged on his son, and rightfully so. His son stepped up and loved 3 kids that were not biologically his, treating them as his own. That is real fatherhood. That is love with work boots on. That is the kind of man who breaks generational foolishness and plants seeds of hope in kids who need it. We also talked about deadbeat dads and how some men never learned to speak life because nobody ever spoke life into them. But we made it clear that breaking cycles is still a choice. Your past may explain you, but it does not excuse you. In short, today was about the power of fathers, the impact of words, and the beauty of men who show up even when they do not have to. Closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close this show, let me leave you with this. If you are a father, a mentor, a coach, an uncle, a neighbor, or just somebody with a mouth, use it to speak life. You never know which kid is one sentence away from believing they can do the impossible. And if you are like Paul's son, loving kids that are not biologically yours, keep going. Heaven sees you, earth needs you, and those kids will never forget you. Remember, anybody can make a child, but it takes a real man to raise one. Biology makes you a parent, but love makes you a father. So until next time, keep speaking life, keep showing up, keep loving big, and keep being the kind of person who leaves people better than you found them. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for laughing with us. And thank you for letting us be part of your day. Now go out there and be somebody's encouragement before I start passing around an offering bucket and the choir walks in from the back. We will see you next time.
You ain't pass around an offering plate. Oh my gosh, KG. Good stuff, man. Really good. Yeah, you don't care about money in the offering plate, KG. You didn't even know I was paying you for like 5 months. I don't pay them much, but man, to save the show, hey, we want to keep on going. So if you want to sponsor the show, if you got a business or anything, yeah, or if you want to give to the Carrie Goode ALS Foundation. That's right. We don't talk about it. Matter of fact, we've never talked about this on this show, but they're making breakthroughs in ALS, and we're going to talk a little bit more in the coming weeks with Carrie about these breakthroughs. And get in touch with me, instant message me if you want to help keep this show going. Carrie's writing another book, so we'd love to deep dive into that and help you guys understand how to weave faith, family, and football into your life or anything really. Carrie's an amazing wisdom-filled guy, and for him, I'm very thankful. I love him. Great job, Tanja, too. We want to recognize his wife who sacrifices so much for the love of KJ. We all love him. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure you share it, like it, go on my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's free. Hope you enjoyed the show. Have a great sports week, everybody. Listen to these great messages from our sponsors. Without this wouldn't be possible. So long, everybody. Be a great dad.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
Over 30 years, you have seen the orange Beck signs all over the Gulf Coast listing a property for sale or lease. Beck Partners is your trusted advisor in commercial real estate, property management, commercial and personal insurance. Senior Vice President David Valletto has been with Beck Partners since 1989. Take advantage of his wealth of knowledge by calling him today at 982-7352. 982-7352. Extensive experience in all aspects of leasing, sales, management, and site selection will make sure your expectations are exceeded.
My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm the manager and owner of Cordova Lanes, and we help keep your mind out of the gutter. Cordova Lanes is part of the community of Pensacola. Being here for 43 years, we've entertained more people than any other bowling center in the city. We self-fund for a living. Cordova Lanes is located at 2111 Airport Boulevard in Pensacola, behind Cordova Mall. Come on out and see us at Cordova Lanes Bowling Center. Thank you.
Arbitrium Consulting for all your fencing, landscaping, pressure washing, tree trimming needs. Call 850-483-0350 for your free estimates. Serving Pensacola, Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, Destin, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Foley, and the entire Gulf Coast. Arbitrium Consulting is owner-operated, fully licensed and insured. Call today, 850-483-0350, the official landscaper of Coach's Corner.
Did you know there's a place where you can get good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates on your home and auto insurance? Yep, and that place is, ta-da, State Farm. Here's the deal. State Farm agent Will Rentschler is your go-to agent in Pensacola, Florida for the service you deserve at the price that you want. So stop shopping around. State Farm agent Will Rentschler has you covered. Call 850-433-4678 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Legal disclaimer, individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.